corroding like a geezer.
Welcome one, welcome all. It's once again time for Graybeard's Studio. This is episode number 96. We are 4 away from the big 100. Thank you for joining us. Today we're doing Dark Horse characters, which actually stirred up a little bit of controversy on Twitter, which we'll get into. It's hard to imagine this show sparking any sort of controversy, but I guess what passes for controversy for this show is not much, but we'll talk about it a little bit anyway. But let's get the crew in here. Here's somebody that's really hard at work, but made the show anyway. It's David Williams. Hello, David.
What's that?
So you're just freely showing your work on Fearsome now, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, just this particular page. Just let people know progress is happening. It's going to be finished pretty soon.
All right, excellent. Here's a guy who we're always hoping for progress with and just hasn't quite made it yet, but hope springs eternal. It's Gary Martin. Hello, Gary.
Hey, Aaron, I don't think I've ever told you this, but I almost had a psychic girlfriend, but she left me before we met.
Oh boy, it's classic stuff that Gary brings to the table every day. Here's a guy who's really kind of all about being classic art style. It's Dan Lawless. Works in the classic industry of commercial art, which I didn't even know still existed, but burning the midnight oil, turning around incredible deadlines.
Yeah,
still doing it.
That's staying up all night.
Yeah, well, you know, some of us actually need paychecks, and Dan's saying, gosh darn it, I'm not giving mine up.
Money.
That's right. The rest of us throwing caution to the wind, and here we are live streaming for your
I'm hoping to grow up and be like you guys someday. So
well, you just keep working at it, Dan, and someday.
Right. I will get there.
So there was a tad bit of controversy, Gary. You were witness to it, where one of our regulars was basically complaining that that the show was boring because we keep drawing the same stuff over and again. And I was like, that's not true. And so then it got a little bit of back and forth. And then he said he was going to just walk away, I guess, from the show. And I did message, I did send him a Twitter thing and said, hey, nobody wants you to walk away. But I just, I don't think it's accurate to say that we're drawing the same stuff every week. Occasionally the categories are similar or the same, like we've done Image Comics, but no one's ever drawn the same character twice that I'm aware of.
Yeah, so, his complaint went from you guys, I'm paraphrasing, you guys tend to repeat characters, and then several tweets later, you guys draw the same things every week. It's like, wait a minute.
So anyway, we want him back, but if you feel that you're getting repetitiveness here, maybe you're watching the same reruns over and over again. I don't know, but this show is nothing if it's not original, and it's a fact. It's an award-nominated show. So there you go.
Yeah, so you can draw the same thing every week if you want to, man.
We keep it spicy in here. We keep it rolling. I've only drawn Man-Thing once, and if I've only drawn Man-Thing once in 96 episodes, there's nothing being repeated.
Yeah, we have to talk you out of it every week.
That's right. I've drawn Sailor Moon, for crying out loud. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, if we draw the same drawing every week.
Yeah. Well, here we are doing Dark Horse. Now, have we got into the envelope of Dark Horse Comics yet as a category?
No,
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have.
We did a Dark Horse character, but I don't think we did overall pick from Dark Horse. I think we had it as a category before, but
we've had a lot of
it
stuff.
got skipped over.
Yeah, we've had like Malibu has never been picked. Atlas Comics, we've tried it dozens of times and never gets picked. So yeah, some of these categories are repetitive, but they've never been chosen.
Yeah.
And because I can't think of a Dark Horse character that I've drawn on this show.
Many are called, but few are chosen.
Yeah, that's right. That's straight out of the Bible, and David knows.
And the other thing is, whatever you guys draw, it's not our fault.
That's right.
That's right. It's your fault.
The chat's fault. You guys pick it. If you guys pick Image every week, then you're going to get Image every week. So, and you know, the interesting thing is also when we pick categories, certain categories do better than other categories. Every time we pick Image, we get a bigger audience than we do if we pick 18th century literature, which I tried one time, which was actually a fun show. I drew the Nautilus getting attacked by a giant squid. I mean, that was awesome fun stuff. Yep. So anyway, enough about.
You just have to have the Nautilus being attacked by a warblade,
exactly, or a giant crab, maybe, because we did
an Image character.
Yeah, I could have done Mysterious Island, you know. So anyway, there you go. So we're doing Dark Horse, and we'll see what we see. I've got an idea of who I want to draw. Someone actually suggested it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Now, we always get a lot of suggestions. It's like, you know, if you don't draw so-and-so, I'm going to riot kind of thing. And it's like, so you got like 20 of those, and you're like, okay, well, I can only draw one of them. So
yeah, Art of Roy put down a pretty good list of kind of obscure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he did, though, because he reminded me of Barbed Wire at Dark Horse, which I drew, you know, and I haven't drawn in years now, you know.
Oh, so you're saying you're doing Barbed Wire tonight?
You got to get out of here.
I got to do Barbed Wire.
That's called cheating, Dan, but that's okay. You can cheat if you want.
How's that cheating?
Kick Dan.
How is that cheating? I don't understand.
It's one of your characters you're familiar with. Where's the challenge, you know?
It's just a girl. So. By the way, can you share my screen for a second? I want to show you, like, this is what I hate about comics, okay? So here's this cover I did for Barbed Wire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look what the colorist did to the teeth.
What?
Oh,
the colorist decided that they were going to put some shading on the teeth.
It looks like she has a metal mouth.
And then when you pull back, it looks like she's missing a tooth.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like she's got a mouthpiece.
Yeah, like a metal mouthpiece or something.
It's just like that. This is what was so frustrating about working in comics. You send something off, look pretty good, and then you get it back and you go, why?
Why does she have metal teeth?
Never cover, never shade the teeth, you know.
I remember when I used to be excited when a book came out that I had work in. I couldn't wait to see it, and then it got to the point to where I just avoided looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'd send me comps, and I wouldn't even look at them.
That's exactly what I would do, because the coloring always, I'm not going to say ruined it because that's mean, but changed it from what you were expecting. And then, so I was always disappointed every single time. So I just quit opening the books, because I would get the printed material, right? And I would look at it and go, oh, and I'd be thinking, I need a new anchor, you know, and then Matt would send me the pages, and they were brilliant. And I was like, these look so good. Why does this comic look so bad? So then I realized, oh, maybe it's the coloring. And then, so I just quit, like you guys. So,
Art of Roy says, Danny, the motorcycle is the challenge. I don't think so. Not an hour and a half. I'm not getting out any circle templates.
That's right. We kind of remember the show used to just go on forever until we were done.
Yeah. And
then it was usually me pulling, you know, being the last one. But we've kind of like, we're being a little bit more disciplined and saying, okay, by around 4 o'clock Pacific time, we're going to be done. And we've tried to keep with that. So anyway, here we go. Let's see who's here. Creative Faces. I voted for Dark Horse. Looking forward to seeing some Heck Boy. Although I'll be drawing Abe Sapien from Dark Terrible Storyline. We'll be late interviewing. I'll be late, she says, because I'm interviewing Andy live at 1 o'clock. Oh, okay. Torchbearers. Of course, Andy has his show that leads right into ours. So it's a full day of excitement on what we call it the Comicsgate Network. So Torchbearer Studios is here. Aaron should do a sultry. I don't think Aaron appreciates the word sexy ghost. I thought about drawing Ghost, but I've drawn Ghost so many times before that I got something a little off that maybe
Aaron,
these will maybe not.
I should rethink that. I'd like to see you draw a sultry Casper. He seemed a little.
I don't know.
He seemed a little flamboyant to me.
Yeah. Pull a surprise like David did last week with Godzuki or whatever he drew. Mark Pengrin is here. He says Usagi Yojimbo. See, there's another good one. Sequential Treasures is not going to be here, but puts a plug in for his video channel on YouTube. N2 Paints is here. Past Master Dan. He goes, how many times are you going to read the chat?
Sorry, James interviewed Andy Smith the other day. So
there you go.
How
many times are you going to reset the chat? I never reset the chat. That does that on its own, man. I mean, I hope you're not talking to me. Are you talking to me?
Talking to me?
I don't see anybody else here. Yeah, I do not reset the chat. I don't even know why it does that, but it does do that. Glitch is here. Zaid Comics, that is Phil Diaz. Someone better draw the mask. See, that's what I'm talking about. There's a lot. I've actually drawn the mask, and so I can't really go back and I don't want to be like Dan and be a cheater. I don't want to go back and draw stuff I've drawn before.
I was hanging out at Dark Horse in the early days, and I remember when mask pages were coming in by
Doug Mankey. Wasn't it Mankey?
Badger.
Mark Badger? Oh, that's real. Yeah, right. The very beginning, right?
Yeah. And so I saw a bunch of those originals.
Super communist. He was always trying to get me to join the Communist Party. We have great conversations. He's a funny guy. I like him.
He must be like really having a hard time right now.
Yeah, wait a minute. Now I'm offended because he never tried to recruit me. What am I, not communist material?
Yeah.
Like George Costanza in the cult,
right?
Get recruited by the carpet cult.
Yeah. Chocolates Curry is here. Toshiro is joining us. See, Glitch is saying it depends on what they are classifying as Dark Horse characters. Would it be Star Wars, Witcher, Aliens, Predator, etc. be included? Well, yeah, they would be if they've been published by Dark Horse. That's all sort of fair game.
Yeah.
Chris Maycock is here. There's David Brohawk Williams in the chat and on the show. That's pretty impressive. Rand Arrington joining us. Let's see, a lot of Toxic Dust 13 is in the chat. Repairman Jack, he says, ahoy, Brohawk, time to dominate again?
Hold on, you just passed over Toxic Dust 13. You just
because
by that?
Hang on, certain things need to be taken care of. Okay, take care of that.
Toxic Dust 13?
He just said Conan.
No, I'm just saying.
You got that cannonball thing. You got that cannonball thing in Slow-Mo.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Gary first, and then Dan. Gary.
I want to go back to Toxic Dust 13.
Just the name.
The name is awesome.
Okay.
I mean, Toxic Dust 12 was just, pathetic compared to
it didn't work out.
13.
Come on, yeah.
But that's unlucky.
All right, Dan. What were you saying then on the heels of that?
Do you have that cannonball in slow-mo?
No, I could slow it. I suppose I could, but
I'm saying I think that's out there. It's got to be. I think I've seen it before.
Well, I could probably do it myself.
Into the guy's belly and shake.
just like stretch out. Maybe I'll work on that. Caleb Reynolds is here. Lone Star Viper. Let's see. Henry Bemis. Henry Bemis. For the longest time, I figured that was his real name until I saw the Twilight episode with a character named Henry Bemis, who was the last man on Earth, and all he wanted to do was be left alone and read books. And then he broke his glasses. Spoiler alert at the end of the episode. And that was Henry Bemis.
The Burgess Meredith
yes.
icon was kind of a cool.
Yeah. Matthew Muma is here. Matthew just shipped your Kit Carter stuff out. Eric N. Boyd. I hope Ghost is chosen by one of the artists. Well, it seems unlikely at this point, but you just never know. Nordic Nerd is joining us. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Fallen Low Life. Okay, he showed up. Great. Thanks for joining us. Robert the Bruce. Daniel Russell. Caleb Reynolds. Enrique Cabrera. How about that? Antonio Rosillo says someone should draw the American. That's, of course, a Chris Warner character.
Wasn't it the fight? No, okay, never mind.
God, there's it's like there's a lot of Dark Horse characters.
That reminds me again of my early Dark Horse days. We used to hang out at this burger place that Paul Glacey's wife owned that was near Dark Horse in downtown Portland. And should I name the inker?
Well, it depends. Is it a positive story or a negative story?
That was inking Chris Warner on the American. I won't name him.
Yeah,
I can't remember who it was. Was it Amberlin?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, first issue. Chris Warner had finally seen the pages that were inked by. The initials are AN. I'll just leave it at that. So we go into Sam's and our Chris Warner sitting at the bar with his head in his hands. Blank. I won't say his name. I was like, Chris, it's not so bad. Oh,
why was he have his head in his hands?
He was not happy with the inks.
Oh,
poor Chris.
Yeah. Well, I've had that, man. Like, you get something back, and it's just the thing is, they didn't. Not only did they not even try, they didn't do a good job. They ignored it. Like, just ignored what you did. And I'm like, oh my God, why did I even bother?
No, I could have drawn stick figures.
Yeah, really.
I will point out that someone in the chat got the name.
Okay, Stealth X5 for $2. Hello, thanks, Stealth. Appreciate it. Andy Dalliff is here. Citizen Ronan, Leg Kick is here because Leg Kick is almost always here, and I understand that Leg Kick is no longer on strike up there at Boeing, so he's back to work. Right. Good for him. Robert Doan's Pills is joining us. Man, I could use some Doan's Pills. I tell you, man, you want to give yourself a backache? Package books for like 4 straight weeks every day. That'll give you a backache.
That should be a tier in your campaign is to fund your Doan's Pills addiction.
I know that's my next campaign. I jacked up my back shipping you the last campaign. So here, give me money so I can get my Doan's Pills.
The doctor said I need a backiotomy.
Yeah. And as our readership gets older, you can include a packet of it too,
That's true. Brian Norton, all the way from Japan, is back. Thanks, Brian, for joining us. Appreciate it. A Silent Spirit. We don't like change, says the Silent Spirit. Because Silent Spirit probably votes for Image every week, even when we don't nominate him. He's a Monster is here. He's a Monster was getting pretty active in the chat last night. I'm pretty sure it was at Malin's show last night. Seemed to be a lot of arguing going. I'm not sure what the topic was, but it was getting a little heated last night in the chat. Let's see. Blackjack's here. Who else we got? Crash 9. Exercise can really change a person. Just take a look at Kelsey. I don't know what that even means.
Oh, is that Kelsey been powerlifting?
I don't know. He's gonna come back and he's all jacked. And
that'd be cool, man. He'd be badass if he was built. He would.
Well, he's a big guy. Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like he'd be.
Blackjack says, "Okay, here we go. Do you see? Draw Atlas Seaboard characters." Blackjack, how many times we put him in the category and you guys will not vote for him? So we keep trying.
Yeah, I almost put Atlas.
Well, why don't you guys just say Atlas characters and then Gary, why don't you just say Atlas characters and then we choose an Atlas character?
We want the kids in the chat to have some participation in the show.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's lots of Atlas characters, aren't there?
Yeah. Ironjaw, the Brute, the Scorpion, Planet of the Vampires, just to name a few. Target. Someone draw the mask. There's Zayd again. Let's see. John Porton's joining us. Michael Bancroft, all the way from Australia. Joseph Pantalone, Mr. Monster. I forgot about I love Mr. Monster. I wasn't. Oh man, it wasn't some sort of guerrilla-based Dark Horse Comics. Well, that was Art Adams' Legends thing, right? Monkey Man and O'Brien.
Yep.
That's probably what he's thinking of.
Yeah.
Paulus Arts, Craig 69, Venom Bite is here. Jimmy Reyes is in the chat, who's drawing Hellboy, says. Best Age
Jimmy.
Comics.
No one's drawn Hellboy, right? Is that what's going on here?
Well, we don't know. I haven't asked David yet what he's going to do. I'm not going to draw a Heck Boy.
I was going to draw Hellboy, but he's like crying. And he's all, what the hell? Kamala, you were supposed to win.
Did you guys see that video of the guy dressed up as a devil? And he did the comedian. Yeah. And he was screaming in the car. He's doing one of those car screams and going, ah.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanted to kill babies.
Yeah.
Art of Roy's in the chat. Brian Smith. Ethan says, draw Ghost. Randy Howells, you're all the way from Canada. Genuine Comics, Senor Goon. It would be awesome to see Broken Tusk and Machiko Noguchi from the first Alien versus Predator comic. Wow. Oh yeah, look at that. Mark. We should have Mark on. I've had Mark on here before. We drew remember that, David, that Thanksgiving episode we did where everybody drew a turkey? Yeah. And I drew an actual turkey. You drew Turkey Man. Yeah. And Mark Nelson drew some alien turkey. It was really cool.
That was fun.
Kino Reviews. Ember 1282 says Kelsey's thin, shaved his beard. I don't know. No one's seen him. We don't know.
And become me, he said.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Oh, I see. Maybe he's that's what his inference is.
Yes,
Brian Suddenly Old is joining us. Let's see. Okay, I think that's just about everybody. Ember 1282. I don't know what it means, but thanks for joining us. Jimmy Owens, loving Kit Carter at Aaron. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you, man. We really appreciate you supporting us. Henry Bemis is still waiting on his Kit Carter shipping notice. He's very sad. Henry, how did you end up? You're in Oregon. How did you end up on the bottom 400 list? That's all we got left is 400 orders to ship.
Yeah,
so we've shipped out over 1,300 orders.
Henry, you don't realize when you ask about your shipping, you get bumped to the end of the line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, a lot of times I don't know you guys' real names, or I don't remember them if I did know them. And then, so it's like, I don't recognize them. Like, oh, we should pull out Henry Bemis and, but I don't, so.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish people would use their real names. It'd be nice.
But then they can't say mean stuff to us, Dan, and get away with it.
You know, that's the only thing.
Did you guys see I made Queen Mickey's list of, I was number one on the Queen's list or something. So I'm just.
Really? What kind of list was there?
Yeah.
I don't know. For great guys who she admires.
Dan,
did I make it?
Dan, you don't qualify.
He's on Katie Did's list. So,
I'll take a list. I'm on an A list. That's great. I'll take Katie Did's list.
All right, let's do a little show and tell. David's got some stuff up here. I want to see. David, explain to us what you got here.
Working out of order. I'm work all out of. But this is a page from Fearsome, and our lead is fleeing some scene that happened. But the only reason I have these pages out is because of the ambulance that I have to draw here. So I want to stay consistent on how I'm drawing.
It's the same ambulance. Yeah. Would anyone even notice? Hey,
that ambulance only has 3 lights on top.
Yeah.
It's supposed to have 4.
Exactly. So I always do that because I was like, how did I draw that before? And sometimes I even forget how I even draw the main character. So I have to always have another page out just to remind me. Getting old.
Yeah, dude, I did the same thing. I'll go back and look at a page I drew and like just to remember what someone looked like. You're like, well, how did I draw that guy again?
Yeah,
David, I love this figure. It's so solid. The perspective and the movement, fantastic, man.
Yeah.
I can hardly wait for this book, Fearsome. I mean, it is going
to be great.
It's so different, It's so creative.
Speaking of Fearsome, there is a link in the description of this video that would take you right to that campaign. They're in demand right now. You can still order this book. And actually, it's the first 2 issues, right? Of Fearsome. So get in on that. Here we got a $10 super chat. Thank you from C. Quinn Schull Artiste. He says, greetings all. Hoping for the Moth to be chosen subject today. Oh, that's another one. That's Rude and Gary.
Yep.
Also curious if Aaron got any Garbage Man sales boosts with the now famous garbage truck situation. Well, if I was doing Garbage Man as a rate, that would have been a great time to do like a Trump variant cover.
Yeah.
Garbage Man. But also if I was doing a book called McDonald's, been perfect. So, but
oh, you know what I'm working on right now, guys?
I will say this though, I have sold more Garbage Man trade paperbacks than Dark Horse has, who published it. I keep buying them from them and selling them to you guys. So there you go. So I have done a better job of selling my own book than they have, which are probably.
Aaron, speaking of Trump variants, you know what I'm working on right now?
What's that?
A Trump variant for Cash Grab 2.
Are you really?
Oh man, it is so bad.
Well, you know that he has that one terrific cover, and I was like, who drew that? It's disgusting. It's got Cecil like bending down in the shower, and he's got the two prison women.
Well, this one is a Trump variant. Trump's on the top, seated on his throne, and he's got all these hot ladies around him. And I actually came up with the subtitle "Handmade in America," and they all got the handmade hats.
Oh gosh. Oh, they're gonna love you for that.
Speaking of Trump, I sent you my variant for Elephant. Can you grab it?
Yeah, actually, I will do that. Ethan has been showing that thing all over the place, but just in case, let's take a look at.
It's in the group.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
I got it. All right, here we go. This is David's Trump variant for Elephant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That Trump.
Nice. Oh, I love their animals are fantastic, man.
Oh, thanks.
That elephant and that raccoon.
Yeah, I wish
So
I
good.
could have finessed the Trump likeness a little bit more, but we needed it quick. So
Deadlines, baby.
Yeah,
Deadlines.
it's energetic. It's got power. It's got energy. It's fun.
Well, you avoided the lawsuit.
Yeah, there you go. That's the reason.
No, that's really cool. And Elephant closed out last night along with Wraith of God 3. But they're both now in demand, so you can still order if you missed out. But yeah, I had a really good closeout last night. I think Ethan did really well on this as well. No small, or should I say, in no small part to your cover. And of course, Malin's Elephant cover is also very popular. So there's two nice, really good covers on that that help sell it. I don't have a link for that in the chat, but I do have Fearsome in there. So you guys going back Fearsome if you have not done so already. Okay, Gary, what have you got for us here?
I shared this last week. I am currently working on this, and just remind everyone that I am working on it. Although I did want to share some quotes about this piece.
Uh-oh. Okay, here we go.
David Williams said it's mesmerizing. Dan Lawless said stunning. Aaron Lepresti.
That's it. I just said stunning. That's it. What?
Stunning. Yes.
You only got one word out of me.
Aaron Lepresti said, "This proves Gary's a much better artist than I am."
That's not an exact quote. I think that's a bit of a paraphrase.
Yeah. Well, hey, this piece
liberty with that.
This is next level stuff. I mean, this is so gorgeous. I mean, just unbelievable.
Thank you. And
oh wow,
that's your Dark Horse
keeping with our theme. This is a recreation of Dave Gibbons' Martha Washington that I did a couple months ago, and I would like to auction this off at the end of the show.
Okay.
It's
wow. Oh my gosh.
On over graphite on 11x17 Bristol.
Whoa. That's beautiful.
Oh, you're going to auction that off today?
Yeah, later in the show.
So nice.
Hey, look at that, you guys.
Guys, go break your penny jars open.
Yeah, we want to make sure we get at least $25 for that one today. So,
smash them. Get that sledgehammer.
All right, Dan. Okay.
Now, I've showed this before, of course. It's for John Malin's Godlike campaign, but I wanted to show it again because tomorrow is the closeout. And the thing is, he don't go into demand. I wish he would for his own sake, but he does not go into demand. So if you want this piece, it is only going to be available if you know, in the next day or so. And it's, you know, it's one of the best things I've ever painted, I think, really.
So is this a cover, or is it just a pinup, or what is it exactly?
It's just a pinup. It's going to put, you know, in the back, or, you know,
Okay.
included and stuff. So, or, you know, I don't know for sure if he might include it in the book, but I doubt it. I think he's just going to do a pinup. But
you mean
anyways,
like a print, an extra print?
Yeah, like a print, yeah, kind of thing. But
okay.
It's like I won't be able to print this myself. He owns it, and so it is only available today and tomorrow. That's it. Never again. And so if you want to get this piece, you have to get God. You have to order the Godlike book, one of the books, and that is closing out tomorrow. I said no, and he's he's serious. No demand. No in demand.
He never does in demand.
No.
He likes to create collectivity for his product.
It does, and that's it. And so it's benefiting the collectors. You guys who are collecting this stuff. I mean, the prices go, like what happened at Red Riding Hood, or what was the name of that?
Little Black Riding Hood or something.
Little Black Riding Hood. Just that's so expensive, that book now. You know, and it's because it's rare and people want it, and so hopefully the same thing will happen here with his.
I figure Malin would be saying, "I don't want to go in demand because it sounds gay."
Yeah, that's probably what he would say.
Yeah,
that's part of every one of his sentences. Gay works its way.
But the Graybeards don't worry about it.
That's right. We're Graybeards.
Not going in demand.
We go in demand.
You go in demand.
Full service.
That's right. The Graybeards are full service.
Anyways, just keep that in mind, folks. Tomorrow is the last day.
Excellent. I got nothing. Only except I got to tell you, I haven't been drawn a lot because I've been shipping books. So let me share books. These, baby, I've shipped out over 1,300 copies, both softcover and hardcover, of these books, and we have less than right around 400 to go. So it is almost done. It should be done within a week or less. I am grinding, folks, to get you your product. It's the weirdest thing that I have Wraith of God in demand now, and I'm still not through fulfilling Kit Carter. Really pisses me off that it kind of went down that way. But so this is the priority, getting it out, and then I will jump headlong into Wraith of God 3 and start showing artwork and stuff like that for that. But got to get you guys your books. Customers are always right, Dan. That's what they tell me. So
for the most part.
All right. So there it is. See, Lopez is slacking. I know. Skull Nasher, on the other hand, said just got that book today. All right. See, so some people are satisfied.
Yeah, the printing on that book was wonderful, boy.
Oh, well, you know, I got to send you out your hardcover because the gallery's in there, which you contributed to.
Oh,
so.
really?
And Gary gets a. Oh, you already have a hardcover, don't you, Gary? Did I send it to you?
I got the notice.
Okay. Shouldn't take that long to get to you. We're not that far apart. I don't know. Of course, there was I shipped a ton of stuff, and I think yours was part of it this past weekend. I mean, I literally had the bed of my truck was completely full, and the back seat was completely full, stacked up, and the front seat next to me. I mean, I had a ton, and I couldn't deliver them on Monday because of Veterans Day, so they didn't get to the post office till Tuesday, even though I could have possibly typed up the shipping label on Friday. So that's probably why. Jimmy says, my last page was glued to the back. I did that on purpose just to piss you off, Jimmy. My last page was glued to the back cover, but I'll take it. No. I'll send you out a new one. That does occasionally happen. If you guys got a messed up book, just let me know and I'll send you a new one. Okay. All right, David, what are you going to draw today?
Eric N. Boyd wanted me to do either X or Marv, but I already did a Marv on the show.
You did.
So I think I'll do X.
That's the Chris Warner character.
X is a pretty good character. By the way, how do they ever get away with that legally? Because, you know, X-Men and
X-Men and all that stuff. Very well. I mean, I don't think they can't really copyright the letter, can they?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, you can't copyright a letter.
So maybe, he was like what, X the something or other? And you've got, who is the one that, what's his face? Drew, the Mr. X,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you got a lot of,
Yeah, I think just X is safe.
Yeah. So you could do a character called like X-Ray. Hey.
There is an X-Ray character.
You want to practice Safe X.
Yeah. Safe X. Oh my goodness. Okay. I
should just draw. Shut up.
So Dan with the jokes, Mr. Comedian, he'll be here all week. You're going to do barbed wire, is that correct?
That's right. That's the character I do with Dark Horse.
So I'm sorry, it's stuck in my throat. All right.
I don't even remember. I had to look it up. I had to look up what the costume looked like. I forgot what it looked like.
All right. Much to the disappointment of many in the chat, I'm going to do the Goon.
Oh, the Goon. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I always kind of like it.
I think there were some requests for.
Yeah, so I'm going Goon because I love that Eric Powell character. I love the way he looks. I love the way Powell draws. And so I'm going to do my version of the Goon. So there you go. That's what we'll be doing today. And let's get to it, shall we, gentlemen?
Okie dokie.
I'm hoping my camera gave me a little trouble yesterday. Let's see what it does. There we go.
Let's switch it up.
Look at that. There's an Aquaman page right there.
Still there.
It's still there. That shows you how often I clean up my studio.
Wait.
Come on, David. Tighten up your belt and
Look at that rockfish.
Wow.
Look at that rockfish there. Yeah. As I told Gary yesterday on the closeout stream, it's like when you've drawn Aquaman, you've pretty much drawn everything at that point.
Wait, now which version of Aquaman did you draw?
I drew both. I drew an issue of him when he, had the short hair and clean shaven, and then I drew the one where he was long hair and beard, and so one of them was a Walmart Giant story, and the other one was part of the regular run on Aquaman.
A man called Plush is asking if Dan has ever drawn ghosts before.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, has he ever drawn before? And I was like, that's a question I ask every episode.
Whoa, slam.
So, Dan, have you ever drawn the ghost?
No, I haven't. I would love to draw that character, but I didn't do my homework. So.
I think the only disadvantage.
The dog ate my homework.
Disadvantage of drawing her is her white costume, so you can't, put in. It's problematic putting in shadows.
I had a lengthy conversation last night with Malin about splatter, and so I showed him this page. I'm trying not to hit that wire because every time I touch that wire, my camera goes nuts. But as you can see down the bottom here, there's like black ink and then whiteout splatter over the top of it. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, what about this? I mean, he's riding away. He's kicking up some dust. And he was like, that's okay, I guess. So, I got out of him for that. So
I'm going to have splatter all over this page that I'm working on.
Oh, man. It's going. There it goes. We're going now.
Okay. There we go. All right. I got to pull up some reference for the Goon. I actually bought that book, and I haven't read it I haven't read enough issues to really understand it. Because I was never really sure, is it supposed to be a comedy or is it just like drawn that way, but it's serious,
He's I'm not funny. I'm just drawn that way.
And they did an animation. Did you guys ever see the animation sample they did?
Yeah.
That was really, really cool. It was stop motion, wasn't it? Or
I don't think so. I thought it was CG.
Well, yeah, CG, but it was, well, you're right. It was CG. That's what
I wish more people would do stop motion.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It was CG.
There's a cool art. I mean, even with the the computer animation and stuff. It's just some of that stuff is just stiff.
I mean, there's ways to, you know, bring both of those things together, but you still have the stop motion puppet to create real lighting, and that informs your CG.
Right.
To marry it together and stuff. I mean, if they would have did like Ditko Spider-Man in stop motion, that would be so awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Eric Powell, this guy, he oil paints, he watercolors, brush and ink. He is so good. Just he's one of those guys that kind of pisses me off a little.
He was one of these guys. One of these guys early in his career. He came up to me at a show, and I didn't know who he was. I think he had just started the Goon with Dark Horse. Well, excuse me, Mr. Martin. I don't want to bother you, but I just wanted to say that I'm really a big fan of your Nexus work. I love your inks on Steve Rude. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, kid, thanks. And then moments later, he's like this huge popular artist, and I was like, boy, I should have treated him better.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Like,
yeah, people
get away
talk
from me, little
about
kid.
being a grouch. Gary, man, don't approach him at a show. That's for sure.
Yeah, whatever you do, if you see me at a show, don't talk to me.
Don't talk to him because you'll regret it. You know. I'm surprised this hasn't been picked up as an animated property, because it seems like it's just tailor-made for that, style-wise and everything, you know.
Yeah.
But it just goes to speak volumes of Hollywood, and just getting anything done seems like a, you know, almost an impossibility sometimes.
Ooh, I should have the X character meeting Mr. X.
There you go.
No, I'm not doing that. Crazy.
Yeah, you'd have to draw two characters.
With the
Hey,
X-Men.
David, you should have missed the X meeting the X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Was it John Byrne who famously put a big, huge caption or something over this? Like, he had to do like all the Avengers or something on this, and he just like put a huge caption so it covered up most of it. And he's like, "You didn't think I was actually going to draw the Avengers, did you?" Or something.
That's funny.
My sketchbook. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, did I tell you guys ever the big letdown experience with the barbed wire movie? You know, I was doing the comic book, and they did, you know, about 4 or 5 issues, and they used that kind of to sell the movie idea to Pamela Anderson, you know. And
You used your work.
yeah, that's, and there's like pictures of her in her documentary. There's pictures of her with a big image of my art behind her.
Well,
It's pretty cool. I should send it to you guys. But anyways, you know, the editor calls me, and I know the movie's coming out. She goes, you know, Dan, we may have this movie coming out. And I go, yeah, and it's going to be, you know, debuting in at the what's this, the film festival in France,
Cannes
Film Festival. He goes, I'm like, yeah, and like, well, you know, they have the big gala, and they have the big you know, like big party beforehand and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah. Like, can you draw the invitation? I'm like, wah, wah. Like, oh, great. Yeah. But I'm not invited. I have to draw the damn invitation just to rub it in, you know.
I went to the premiere of that movie in Portland. Mike Richardson set up this special viewing for area artists, and, you know, I don't know, you called it art. There's nobody in Portland I categorize as a celebrity, but it was like an event that he rented out a theater. So I went with Chris Warner and Randy Imberlin. We went together, and so we're walking out of the theater, shaking our heads, and Mike Richardson is standing at the door.
Oh God!
Hey guys, what did you think? We're all,
It sucked balls.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I used. It was interesting.
So Mike didn't he? Well, I mean, I know he's trying to put a positive spin on it because but he didn't kind of register that it was a complete disaster.
Well, I think that was one of his early films. I can't remember the order, but
The Mask was the first one. No. Dr. Giggles was the first. Remember that thing, that horror film?
Yeah.
That was the very first, I think, Dark Horse. And it actually did really well for a cheap horror film. It did really well, and then they did The Mask after that, which was a major hit.
And that's the reason why Mike started publishing comics in the first place, is because he wanted to get into films. And so that was, a success for him. Just getting it on the screen was a success for him at that point.
Right.
But you could tell he was like a proud dad handing out cigars, in the hospital room. No one's going to tell him that the baby was ugly.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say the baby was ugly, but
Well,
the movie sucked.
The baby was pretty, but her disposition not so great.
Yeah,
maybe
that's more like it. It was a mess. It's a hot mess.
Well, they had for a while, because Dark Horse Films was like a big deal for a while. He had an office at was it Paramount or Universal, someplace, one of the major studios. He had an office, and he was down there, doing the movie thing for a long, long time.
Yeah.
In fact, when I first when I had them publish Power Cubed, I had to sign a 4-year deal where, I still retained ownership of it, but they had 4 years to exploit it, and then it was like still a pretty good deal. It was like a 50-50 split or something of any sort of movie deal or toy deal. And of course, nothing ever came of it, but that was still kind of a major possibility at that point. Oh yeah, this could, they could do something with this. And I had the same deal with Garbage Man. I think those 4 years are probably up because it was pre-COVID.
You don't have it marked on your calendar?
No, because to be honest with you, if someone approached me, Mike's a pretty honest guy. At least, I've known him for decades, and I wouldn't mind them handling that. Here, you take care of it. Give me 50%. You got to do that with somebody, right? I'm not going to be cutting my own deals anyway. So
you wouldn't want to get involved creatively at all? You're okay with just handing it over to them?
No, but I would. But you have to have someone advocate for you, whether it's you have an agent.
Right, but I'm saying after the deal is done and they're making it, wouldn't you be nervous?
It depends on what the property was and how much you cared about.
You don't care about Garbage Man, but if it was Wraith, you'd be.
Well, the thing with Wraith that I would be worried about is that the Christian element in Wraith is so important to the story. To not get that right, you could just ruin the whole concept.
Mm-hmm.
Garbage Man's a little bit more straightforward. You could take some liberties with it, and as long as the monster looked cool, I'd be like probably pretty good with it.
How much money would it take to give up the Christian rights? Do you have a price? 5 million or whatever you want to do it.
Well, no, if look, I'm no dummy. If someone came to me and said, "Hey, we're going to do a Netflix series on Wraith of God. I don't even know what they're going. Here's $500,000." I wouldn't go. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really want to use the Christian.
Yeah, that tests your character right there.
Hey, we don't really want to use the Christian element. We're going to pay you 30 pieces of silver here.
Well, I don't think I would equate you betraying Jesus with selling a intellectual property that.
Yeah, but I am.
They're going to jerk. They're going to mess it up anyway.
Yeah, but I am.
I had a meeting with Sony film producers, and there was 15 different producers in the meeting, so it was like 15 against me, And after I gave them my pitch and explained to them the whole concept and what the story's about, and they were asking questions, and one of them asked, would you consider this a faith-based project? And it's like, well, I hadn't really thought of it, because I don't think of it as faith. I think of it as fact.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is just.
And so I said, yeah, probably. And it's like the air went out of the room when I said that.
Of course. But I see, I don't look at Wraith of God necessarily as a faith-based project. I look at it as a project with characters of faith in it. You know,
right?
What I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like those characters are important to how this, it's in the title, for crying out loud. So if you took Wraith of God, you'd have to include those elements. And
but it's also characters' motivations.
Right, exactly. And you would change the whole thing if you take that out of there. I mean, what's his motivation if you take away the God aspect that either he imagined appeared to him or actually did appear to him. And, Esther's like the perfect foil, because he's like this, Wraith of God is like this kind of ambiguously godly character. You're kind of like, is he really though? Yeah. And she really is. So you sort of need that sort of juxtaposition. If you took that out of there, it would just be, this lame Western where they're going around fighting monsters, which I guess could be cool, but it would lack any depth at all.
Yeah.
So I would fight for those elements, but if someone said we're gonna take this and turn it into a satanic worshiping blah blah, I would say no, I'm not gonna.
Well, it's Hollywood, so
Well, but see, they could tell you anything. Oh yeah, we won't jack around with it, and then as soon as they buy it, they jack around with it. So what are you gonna do?
Okay, hold on a second. My sketchbook 340 says, wait, Gary's a Christian too? How was the first century church, sir? And do you have a signed copy of the New Testament? All right. That was pretty good, I have to admit.
That's quality entertainment right there, folks.
Yeah.
You can't get that anyplace else. Oh my gosh, that was good. So do you like
hold on a second. Brian Smith said
what?
Brian Smith says, Wraith of Allah coming soon from Hollywood.
They're like, yeah, we don't want to lose the religious element, but we want to change it to oh God, that'd be funny. I don't know. I just figure you go into Hollywood and you're prepared for disappointment anytime you sort of sell your property. I mean, I would try and get, I would try to get to be the screenwriter on it, but it's like you'd have to have a lot of leverage to pull that off, right? I mean, they'd really want to have
your
have
first outing. That would be.
You'd have to be a part of their guild to get that.
You mean the Witches Guild?
Yeah, whatever the heck it is. They just don't let, no matter how good you are in the game and stuff like that, and they could acknowledge it, they had to, go above and beyond to get Frank Miller into it and all this kind of stuff before he got his, chance to write RoboCop 2. Whatever.
Yeah, good thing they worked hard to get that.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, Frank's film career didn't really work out that great.
His when you watch the films, it's like his comics, but I think just the comics don't translate into film.
I don't think any film that tried to look like a comic book succeeded.
Well, the problem is, and I have some experience insight into this, having gone to film school and worked a little bit in the Hollywood scene.
Hold on a second there, Aaron. You sounded like Gabe for a second.
I know, I did. I'm going to take that back. I do
have an award-winning.
No. I just said I have a little bit of experience with having feet on
speaking as an expert,
I didn't quite
this is
say
why
that.
I'm an
A
expert.
little bit of experience. I'm just saying that the comic books and film are very different, and you see a lot of not a lot, but there's been a few comic book people that just have not been able to transition writers into film
Right.
because they just don't get it. They don't understand the difference, and
Or the other way around. Film
Yeah.
people trying to do a comic booky type film.
mm-hmm.
You know, like Dick Tracy. I mean, boy, what a stinker.
I couldn't believe that they didn't
Dirty
give a
Dick.
guy a nose, like the Dick Tracy nose. That's the whole thing. It's like, you know.
Oh, come on. You think Warren Beatty's going to let somebody make him look not
He
good?
put major celebrities in prosthetics except for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's why people were just like, what?
I loved Al Pacino in that movie, by the way.
He was great.
Was he Big Boy or...
Yeah, that movie could have been great.
And they had Lips Manless. And yeah, I mean, he did that to every actor, all the villains, but he was like this, charming, handsome hero.
What'd you guys think of the Alec Baldwin Shadow?
Could have been great.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
That's true. It could have been great.
Could have been great.
I kind of felt the same way. It kind of didn't have that sort of pointy nose, more had like that like bulbous nose.
Well, I mean, just the whole movie.
I didn't have a problem with that. His aesthetic. It was weird that he changed into it. I wish he would have just stayed like that.
Oh, okay.
What, with the big nose, or
Yeah.
even when he was Lamont Cranston?
Yes. I think that would have been cool.
I just couldn't get over the villain too. It's kind of had these puppy dog eyes, you know. He just didn't seem like a tough villain. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I thought the acting was bad. I thought it felt really, really stagey. Like that opening sequence, where he's like the ruler of some Tibetan village or some weird thing like that. And
Yeah, that was weird.
I was just like, the whole thing just seemed like an overlit, cartoonish, attempt at.
They shouldn't have tried to do his backstory at all. Just throw people in the deep end. It's like, oh, this guy's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it should have been a film noir movie. It should not have been like this
Right.
cartoonish, all the color and all this. I was just like, I hate that when you have atmospheric stuff that should be atmospheric and it's just like too well lit.
Yeah.
It was like when Indiana Jones goes into the cave, the very opening scene to get that statue.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, turn off some of the lights, will you? For crying out loud, give me some atmospheric conditions here.
I always wonder in movies when the actors are in caves, where's the light coming?
Yeah,
in?
exactly.
I mean, I don't mind, a lot of color or well lit or whatever that is. It's just how you do it. And you got to have good art directors behind it instead of like what Joel Schumacher did. He just vomited Fruity Pebbles all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just color, and you're like, damn, I'm going to have a seizure if I keep looking at this.
Well, look at
I'm sorry, Aaron. The chat is on today.
Look at the Christopher Nolan Batman films, at least especially the first one. I mean, you couldn't say it wasn't well lit or whatever, but it was atmospheric. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the Shallows.
Yeah.
And I see too much of that get sort of overlooked, and everything is just like this grandiose Hollywood production, and you're like, this should be a noir film. I'm talking about The Shadow again. This should be a noir film.
Yeah, and it's called The Narrows.
Oh, what did I say? The Shallows.
Shallows. I'm like, what
that's Aquaman.
Yeah. I'm like, did I blink and he went to another place? I don't remember that.
The Shallows. He went swimming in the Shallows.
Aaron Skoldnasher says, The Shadow is great. These old codgers are just cranky because they have not had their banana pudding yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't had anything to eat either. So yeah, no, I thought, yeah, again, I thought there was elements of the Shadow that would have been really, really cool. In fact, when they started, I tried to get the storyboard job for that movie.
Really?
My dad, yeah. I should, looking back at my career, I should have. I had a chance to do the storyboards on. I mean, if I was literally hired to do it for Dead on Arrival DOA, that remake of that '50s film. It was terrible, but with Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid, and he gets like slow acting poison, and he has like 48 hours to find out who killed him, kind of thing. And yeah, I got that job, but I was in film school, and I was like, I was obviously naive and stupid, and they were like, "Yeah, these look great. When can you start?"
That's a given that you were naive and stupid.
Well, I mean, from Beaverton, Oregon, down there in LA, I've like never left Beaverton before. What do I know? And I became very cynical after film school. I can tell you that. But when I went down,
Really?
Yeah. And yeah, LA leaves you very cynical very quickly. But yeah, I was hired to do it, and then I said, "Well, I got school during the day, so can we do this on the weekend?" Just dump something. They're like, "No, you got to be like full time, 24/7 at our disposal." I'm like, "Oh, I can't do that." And it's like, you're going to film school to get a film job, and then I turned down a film job because I wanted to go to film school.
Yeah, 90% of that is just getting your foot in the door.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I should have quit film school and taken that job, or at least, taken the semester off and taken the job and see if it turned.
Because you would have learned so much just on the set, probably, that you would more than film.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just dumb, but
We've all been there.
yeah. Well, I at that point I was like, I don't want to be a. I just was looking for a job. I didn't want to become a storyboard artist. I wanted to be a film director. But just so dumb. I should have.
I hated working on storyboards. I thought I would love it because you don't have to draw a finite drawing. It doesn't have to be super tight and all this.
Right.
But it's so much.
Yeah.
And you can't ever look back and reminisce of, oh, this is cool. Look at, oh, I want to do. No, you got to move on. I'm like, dang, I mean, I did storyboards on the Batman cartoon, and that was rough because they didn't take me off of doing character design. So I'm doing character designs plus storyboards. So that was killing me. I did, 48-hour, drawing, like my wife waking up and she sees me still drawing and I show her my hand and it's doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm going into work and all jittery and stuff. It was crazy. So yeah, storyboards, you got to have a certain kind of mentality.
I only did one storyboard assignment for a film, but it never got made. But I did do a number of storyboards for corporate films.
I did storyboards for commercials, like beer commercials and stuff like that. But way back in the day, like mostly though, I actually didn't do one that was actually in production. It was all like for presentation, to sell the concept. Like they had this one that you're in the Bates Motel. I had to do this. This was like a Friday night assignment. Dan, you'll appreciate this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come in on Friday night and they say, "Hey, we need this Monday morning first thing, like at 9 a.m. in our office at 9 a.m."
Well, for me, it's usually Sunday night, and it's needed 9 a.m. Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so it was a Coors Light commercial because we had this huge ad agency. I don't know if they're still big time like they were, Wyden and Kennedy in downtown Portland, and they had all the major accounts, like Nike and Coors Light and all these kind of major clients. And so they call and say, "Okay, we were doing this presentation for we've got these different concepts, and this one was you're in the Bates Motel, and they went into, is this the one with the Hulk? I may be conflating these two commercials because they had one with the Hulk and then one with the Bates Motel, and they might have been the same. But the cops are in it, like going through the the hotel, and it's dark and everything. They go into the bathroom, and then there's this guy sitting there in, I think it was the Hulk one, whereas Bruce Banner is sitting in this ice bath full of beer, like cans of beer.
Mm-hmm.
And then he something happens and he turns into the Hulk. It was just I wasn't really sure what was going on. It was a fun storyboard to do, but of course it didn't get approved. But I was doing that all the time, getting these, they'd come up with these concepts and then need someone to storyboard them so they could pitch them to, Coors Light or whoever.
When Dan, you mentioned you did a corporate film storyboards, the first thing that popped into my head was Dan's film. Is this appropriate? Oh, hey, Brenda, nice sweater. Is this appropriate?
I remember once I was doing a storyboard and the guy said, just a woman walking down the street. He just kind of said, make her hot, I made her hot. And this is I don't know what it was, yard band lawn equipment or something. I don't know. But he's like, I didn't mean that hot. Well, she had a halter top. Tight pants.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't mean that hot. Well, the guy that was sort of my mentor at this commercial art studio when I first started, he was name was Eric Larson, or is Eric Larson, and not the same Eric Larson, but he, I learned most of my stuff from him. And he had this one assignment where they had to do like adult diapers, for a newspaper ad. So you would get these, I don't know how many people are old enough to actually remember this, but you get the newspaper and there'd be a grocery section, right? Where it's got all the different grocery stores, local stores that have sales and coupons you can cut out and all this kind of stuff. And they would run black and white ads in there for certain things they were selling or, whatever. And one of them was Depends or something, right? And so he drew the diaper. It was supposed to be a drawing of the diaper open, so you could see how it, and
yeah, you don't want to draw an adult wearing the diaper.
No. You do the diaper now. You just take a picture of it or whatever. But then it was you drew it, and then you'd fax the drawing over for approval, right? Well, as a joke, he drew a big old turd in there, and they did not think it was funny.
This is serious business here.
Yeah, I wonder why.
They're lose the turd, and he's like, of course I'm not, it was just a joke. And they were yeah, not funny. So
said, you want to be laughing at the employment line, kid?
Sometimes I get bored when I'm doing storyboards and I'm drawing a crowd scene or something, and I'll just throw a tiny Spider-Man in there in the background. And they never notice it or anything.
Aaron, that phrase could be used in a lot of situations. Lose the turd.
So yeah, it was good times, man. We played a lot of darts back then. We were supposed to be working. We had a dart board, and we were always playing darts when we were supposed to be working. He also taught a class. I thought this was funny. He taught a class at Portland State University, which is right downtown Portland, and we were not far from there. So he taught a class in commercial art, illustration, whatever. And he told me this. He went into class. It was a night class. He went into class and had this girl that was one of his students. And so he gives them this assignment, and everybody, picks up their pencils and pens or whatever, starts working on it. This girl's just sitting there. And he goes, "Are you going to do the assignment?" And she goes, "I'm just not really feeling it today." He goes, and he says to the whole class, "And that is the difference between a professional and someone who will never work in the industry."
Yeah. I would have said, you know what I'm feeling today? I'm feeling like giving you an F.
Yeah.
I said, you're going to be feeling the tip of this shoe if you don't get
Yeah.
it.
I'm not feeling it. You
But,
imagine saying that to a client?
Oh my, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the whole. That's this whole sort of. I don't know. People don't understand, or they probably do better now. But you know, it's this fine arts mentality, and you can't have that in commercial
Right.
art.
Right.
You got to, even if you don't feel like it, you got to be. And comics are the same way. I mean,
Yep.
we want to treat comics like it's some, you know, fine arts, an extension of fine arts, but it's commercial art.
It's
Man.
commercial art. Yeah.
You got to get it done when it's supposed to be done,
Right.
unless you're, you know,
Yeah, I don't feel like drawing right now.
buddy, you know, but.
My sketchbook 340 says, Aaron, quote, I'm not just a spokesman for Depends. I'm also a client.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, I get to break this
That's
out.
kind of convenient, though. You know.
Hold on a second. I'm excited.
All right. Super chat. Oh my gosh. Okay, Stealth X5 for $2. Hamburger,
Okay,
fries,
that's a
croissant,
cryptic message again.
crab, lobster. Is that a crawfish or a shrimp? Shrimp. Squid, bowl of rice, spaghetti, and a pretzel.
I think that covers all the food groups.
I pretty much. Thank you, Stealth, for once again making us hungry.
It sounded like a Johnny Carson bit, you know, when he.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy Smith, comic artist for $4.99. Says, Aaron, I got my kit carded today. It looks awesome. Congrats. However, no Green Lantern sketch. Yeah, I ship art separately. There's a lot of people waiting for me to ship them their art. But if you actually haven't paid for it, Andy, I'm never under any pressure to send it to you quickly. So I'll get it to you eventually.
Hey, why doesn't Andy come on and draw with us?
first.
Did you guys ask Andy to come on and draw with us? Has he been on before? I'm sure.
He's been on the show before.
Yeah.
But I don't
It
know if
might
he
be
can
time
handle.
again.
I don't know if he can handle the pressure right now. How much time we got left? Yeah, he's got less than an hour.
No, I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about.
No, we'll have Andy on again. His performance was pretty weak though the first time, so
You're cold.
Okay, Andy. Now you're gonna
Yeah.
take that one
the
down?
gauntlet's been. I can't even remember. What did we do? Oh, we did Lord of the Rings or something, didn't we? When he was on.
Yeah,
there?
he did Schmeedle.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
There you go.
little gremlin dude.
The Jewish guy.
Damn,
What?
you anti-Semite.
Gollum is who he did.
Shmiegel. Does it kind of sounds like a Jewish name?
I don't
What
know,
if Jim
man.
Neighbors played Gollum? Well, go. Whoa.
Oh, hey. My precious.
Man, I got in trouble last week for the Japanese stuff, and then now.
We
no,
know you hate
yeah.
everybody. Aaron, it doesn't mean Aaron. It means Aryan.
What? Oh my God. I'm not getting involved in this conversation. No, thank
We
you.
kid because we love.
Yeah.
We do. Just send all your complaints to care of Dan Lawless at the Graybeard'S studio.
Are you using that pen again?
I'm using two of them. Yeah, I'm using this one. The thing with these are super cheap, and they don't have that much ink in them. So this one was after last week's Godzilla and all that black. It pretty much went dry on me. Now this one, I like a lot. I just tried this one out. This is the fine line Kuretake, and I was doing all the little. I like this a lot, but I can't do the bolder lines with it. But like for face detail and stuff like that, really nice. So there you go.
So I mean, is it the same one that you did Godzilla with?
Yeah.
See, we should cripple you and say you can't use that because you're too good with that.
I just started. This is the second time I've used it.
I don't care.
Well, we do need. What we haven't done in a long time is do an episode where it's more centered on the medium we're using as opposed to the subject matter. kind of challenge ourselves like we used to do a little bit.
I don't think the chat cares about that. I think they want to see characters that they like.
Gary, what do you know?
No, they don't care if you're using a Mach or a Winsor Newton.
No, but you go in and like use a
they
big.
They want to see image.
If you go in and use like a big pen to do the entire drawing, which we did before, people dig that.
Am I wrong, chat? Would you want to see?
We did crayons once. That was kind of fun.
Gary's got his hand in the pulse on the.
No, I enjoyed it. I'm just saying
Wait a minute.
I'm dubious if the chat.
You're saying Gary has the pulse of the audience when he can't even keep up with the chat when his phone
doesn't. He
can't even do that. How can you possibly have
psychic
keep up with the chat? You're drawing. What do you know what's going on?
I know that you have one job.
He's psychic.
Well, he did almost have a psychic girlfriend. So,
yeah.
Andy's bowing out. He says, "I'm going to eat dinner. To my keen eye, David and Dan are the winners."
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay.
Snap back at you.
Keen eye is what's wrong with that statement. Okay, with Andy. So.
Not that he called David and Dan the winners, but the keen eye part.
Well, yeah, but if you say you have a keen eye, but you really don't, then you can't trust his conclusions. Is what I'm basically saying.
Okay, Marcus is claiming he posted some funny stuff, so I'm going to scroll back. Marcus says, "I care what art tools you use."
Yeah. See.
Well, that's not funny, Marcus. Let's see. More Marcus. He's saying hail. Okay, Marcus says, "Andy got his Kit Carter. Where's mine? We live in the same town, and I'm half Jewish."
And he's half Jewish, did he say?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Let's see, Marcus, you missed the beginning of the show where we determined that if you are wondering about when you're getting your Kit Carter, you move to the back of the line.
Yeah.
Because you're half Jewish, but because you're complaining.
Oh.
Just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
I want to.
What I'm going to do is I do this every time that whoever's the last person to get their book, they get something special thrown in their box. Usually trash, but sometimes I might throw some artwork in there this time. So, which also is classified as trash.
Yeah. What happened to what's in David's trash? I think we should revive that.
Well, because David took his hiatus right when we were going to start doing that, and then I just haven't.
Yeah, but you can't prepare him for it. You got to surprise him with it.
Yeah, so I think we should do it right now.
Right now.
I don't have an intro for it. I didn't do the.
It doesn't matter.
There's nothing in there.
He emptied it before the show.
See, he's wise. He knows.
Torch Bear Sue says, "I was hoping Dan would draw Bob Wire with Pamela Anderson's face as it looks now."
Hey, she looks all right still.
Actually, she does. I saw a picture. I mean, she looks like an older lady, but she looks like a good-looking older lady.
She's MILF.
What'd you say?
What did you say?
Nothing.
I heard you, Dan.
I heard something too.
Nope.
All right. Okay. You're going to deny it, I guess. What are you going to do?
Creative Faye, I am not going to read your comment. She's getting a little salty.
Actually, you know what? Creative Face sent me some artwork, and I was supposed to open the package. I have yet to do it. I should do it right now, shouldn't I?
Do it.
Sure. Yeah.
Is she salty over
you
what
get away
Dan
from
just
that.
said?
She might be salty that I haven't opened up the artwork she sent me. So here it is. I think this is it. We'll see what it is.
Oh, you mean it's it's still taped up?
I have not opened it. I mean, because I wasn't sure if it was something she wanted me to open up on screen or just privately or whatever. And so it's been sitting there. And then she said, you can, whatever. So this is
Don't
a
show her address.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, better not. There's a card in there. She wrote a little note. Very nice.
Hey, Gary, can you show your piece you're going to sell at the end of the show again, just to in case anyone came in late? Martha Washington.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah. Fantastico.
Let me make you.
Yeah, that's going to go in auction, you guys, at the end of the show.
There you go. Now you're full screen.
Look at that. It's beautiful. Wouldn't you love to own a nice, just gorgeous piece of artwork like this? And it's led by 17, frameable.
Inking. Yeah, brush inking. So you see those sweet feather lines.
Yes.
As Kelsey would say.
Just exquisite. That was a pretty good series, too. I like that. I mean, I really liked almost everything.
It was overcolored, so you couldn't see Dave's work.
Yeah. That's when I noticed that they did those sort of photo backgrounds. I didn't care for those.
No. Okay, Aaron.
All right. So April sent me several pieces, and nice note in there thanking me for being an inspiration. She said, unlike Gary. So she's got this, looks like Wraith fighting the Headless Horseman here. Very Sienkiewicz-y looking. Look at all that kind of edgy inking she's got going on there.
Whoa. Can you make a big screen?
Quit making me push buttons, Dan.
I'm pushing your buttons.
Yeah, and April has got the head there. Ooh, just took his beard off there with that.
That looks impressive.
Oh, that's nice.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Yeah, when she sends artwork, she doesn't just send the finished piece. She sends all the prelims too.
Yeah, here's a prelim for it.
I do that too sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Looks like Man-Thing fighting Howard the Duck.
Awesome.
I love it. Come on, focus, baby, focus.
Wow.
And then she's got Man-Thing battling. I don't know. Is that Swamp Thing or Garbage Man? I don't know.
These are cool.
Yeah. I like that Man-Thing face a lot.
Way to go, Faye.
Creative Faye, bringing the heat. Very nice.
Very creative, Faye.
Yes, very creative, Faye. Let's see. I got a prelim for the. Come on, focus. There we go. Now that's Garbage Man. And is that Robin? Who is that? It says, what's that smell? Unbelievable. I can't tell on this rough who that is. It's not the Wraith, is it? No.
No.
They got this little. She's a big fantasy fan, so she came up with this kind of troll-like character here. Says she's trying to inspire me to do my fantasy comic, which I just might do next. And this looks like a. Is that a squirrel or a ruff for? Yeah, I think it's a squirrel. I got a bag of nuts there, drinking a Coke.
It's a little hard to see, but yeah.
Well, it's a rough. It's not finished yet, so we're not 100% sure where she's going with it. But it doesn't have long ears, so I'm going to assume it's a squirrel. Anyway, look at that great package of artwork. Thank you so much, Creative Faye, for
Keep up the good work. Great work.
Yes, keep drawing. Put that over here with the rest of my art. And,
I believe she's in art school.
she is or was. I don't know.
believe she is.
Well, I know she was. I don't know if she's out yet or if she's still in. So, yeah, it only took me 2 weeks to open that, but I finally did it.
Pretty much
Aaron,
everything
you were in
that
film
Aaron
school.
does.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Sorry.
You and Dan,
No, we're not thinking
wait,
here.
always talking at the same time.
Yeah, I talked over you, Dan. Go ahead.
Eric.
Aaron, hey, Gary, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, just go ahead, Gary.
I was going to say, everything that Aaron does, he has to consider if he's going to put it on the show or not.
That was it. That's it.
Okay,
now for my question. I think my question's a little better.
Okay.
Aaron, when you were in art school, what was your experience with the left wing kind of, which I'm sure they were? I mean, were you conservative at the time? How did you fit in?
No one cared, man. Reagan was president, and some people would complain about Reagan, but no one was like losing their mind over him.
Right.
I never really talked politics because I didn't really care. Nothing was really,
TDS didn't exist back then.
Yeah, it's like, they were, everybody in film school was a liberal or a leftist or whatever, but it was like nobody really cared. We were there to make movies, and like I said, they didn't like every once in a while you get a Reagan joke or something like that, but it's kind of like, I didn't care. It's like, Reagan wasn't my dad. I mean, I voted for him. I thought he was a great president and all, but everything was the 80s. Everything was going pretty well,
Yeah.
So it was.
But you were conservative though?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So was I, and I was in art class once, and some kids came in and goes, "Ronald Reagan's in town. We're all going to go protest." And I said, "Ronald Reagan, I love Ronald Reagan."
And then they beat you up after class.
They sure looked at me like, what the hell?
I mean, the big thing with that era in youth, there weird conspiracies saying that Ronald Reagan was the Antichrist because his name, Ronald Wilson Reagan, added up to 666, and they're saying, "See, that's the proof." And I was just like, y'all are so ignorant. So that was the thing that was during that time.
What if you get a name that adds up? You're like, damn it.
Yeah,
Well, I hope this doesn't. Hope I can overcome this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a bummer.
It wasn't a good start though. You're not really helping your kid out when you just make sure you add up those digits before you name your kid. Let's see. Okay, 665. Okay, you're right.
The last time Oregon voted Republican was when Reagan was president. He actually came and spoke and I would have been in high school. He spoke at the University of Portland, and me and one of my best friends went down to see him speak, and it was really cool. It's the only time I ever went to anything.
Wow, that would have been incredible to see him.
Yeah, and it was so funny because he was down there, on stage speaking. We were in a basketball, what do you call it? Not an auditorium, but a arena for the University of Portland for basketball. So it probably sat about, I don't know, maybe 10,000 people or whatever. I guess they had people on the floor too, so it might have been more than that. But so we were up in the upper deck, kind of looking down straight on the stage, and he started speaking. They had a heckler in there who started yelling, "Hail, hail Reagan, hail Reagan," like that, And so they were calling him a Nazi too back in the day. And he goes, "You'd be saying hail somebody else if it wasn't for my generation." And everybody's like, drug the guy out of there. It was great. And but no, it was great because he was such a great speaker. Trump's an entertaining speaker, but he's not really necessarily a great. He just rambles, But
right.
Reagan was
eloquent. Yeah.
Yeah, and he could really deliver a good speech. I mean, he was an actor, for crying out loud. Yeah. So. And then when he left, we were out front, and he drove by in the limousine, and we actually waved to him, and he waved back. So it was kind of cool.
Toshiro says Daniel equals 6, Lawless equals 6. Gary, don't ask his middle name. What his middle name is.
Holy shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first.
Toshiro, you just blew Daniel's brain up.
Cut your ass.
Damn it. Great.
You're busted.
You're not gonna be able to get away with anything now. And we all thought it was Alan Moore this whole time.
I might as well just go out and sin like crazy now. I mean, I'm not getting in, obviously. So
don't know what this question has to do with anything. Virgil Kane says, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Dan, my wife bought a new thong. Could she be seeing another man?
I would say that the verdicts are the
You got something on the slide
yes.
that we don't know about?
8 Ball says it is in the realm of possibilities.
So I'm not following what's going on in that line of questioning. I kind of got lost a little bit there.
Yes, I thought Dan would know, but apparently he doesn't.
I don't know shit.
Okay.
Dan, you
I didn't even know I was the devil, So
you could have helped your image out quite a bit if you answered that question with authority.
That's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna... Dan Wallace answer a question with authority. Come on.
If I ever managed a question with authority, I'd blow it 5 seconds later. You'd be like, "Oh, that's great." Next second later.
So that was 19. Yeah, it was. No, wait a minute. When Reagan was first elected in what, 80? So I would have been 16. Was I down there when I was 16? Must have been. I think we were still in high school. So yeah, it had to have been. Because 84, I'd have been. I don't even know if I'd been around in 84 in Portland. I think I might have been gone already. So yeah, I was 16. That was pretty cool. And that's the last time. I guess the last time was 84 when Reagan took every state except Minnesota when he was going against Mondale. It was the last time Oregon voted Republican.
Can you guys still remember where you were when he was shot? Like when you heard the news? Like,
no.
Okay, I do. I remember I was in the hallway of a high school there, and someone said, "He got shot. Reagan got shot." I'm like, wow.
I remember, who was that guy? Frank somebody. He was the anchor, white hair, was anchor for ABC. He was kind of sympathetic towards Reagan. I'm not saying he was conservative. I'm just saying that he was, he wasn't a jerk when Reagan was president.
I think I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name.
Andy just texted me and says, "Make me a wrench, loser."
So are you a loser if you make him a wrench, or are you a loser because you haven't?
I don't know. Is he still in the chat?
No, I don't think he is.
Okay, well then he's the loser.
The chat is requesting the beef.
Oh yeah, it's 3:30. It is time for what's Gary's beef.
Wait. I'm back. What were you saying?
It's time for Gary's beef.
No, you were saying something before that.
Andy texted me and said that he said Andy sent me a text and said, "Make me a wrench, loser."
Oh, okay. Well, no.
Yeah, now I'm definitely not.
You gotta say the magic word.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. It's time for what's Gary's beef. All right, Gary, let's hear it.
All right, this week is short. It's people who use the word actually too often because they think it makes them sound smart.
Actually, I use it quite a bit.
Actually, I use it quite a bit.
And I see this a lot on local news when they're interviewing someone like on the street, and it'll be a situation like here we are cutting to our on the street reporter Chloe Silverado, and she's down at the Moda Center where the Blazers play, and something happened down there. Chloe, I'm a meteor just struck the Moda Center and killed everyone in it. We have a passersby. What do you think about that? Well, actually, I didn't see it. I'm just walking by, but I saw you with a camera. I wanted to know what was going on. So actually, I don't know anything about this event, but it seems to me that it's actually horrifying. So
Well, actually, okay.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
So I actually killed that person.
Well, you know what word I hate now is existential.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's an existential threat. Do you even know what existential means?
right.
You know, it's like, God, quit using that word. It's driving me crazy. I mean, no one ever used the word existential threat to a democracy.
David Enterprises.
It's got to be Grievous again.
Was that David's phone?
I think so.
Well, he's not responding, so he must be.
It's probably Kevin.
You know what? Another word I really hate lately is gaslighting.
Yeah, why don't you just call it lying? The other one was word salad. That it just is used way too often.
Yep.
Where they should say, she just sounds like an idiot.
The problem with the gaslighting thing is I don't really know exactly what it means.
Well, it doesn't seem to be always used in exactly the same way.
Right.
I think it's soft selling, telling a lie.
Yeah, I think it's trying to convince the other person that you that they're wrong and to make them believe that they're wrong. Like they have to like.
Yeah, but they'll
be convinced. Like you punch someone in the face and they say you're just hit my face. Kind of thing.
Right. It's like they use the after the fact and they change the facts, which Gary, of course, is correct, is then lying about what actually happened.
Yeah.
And that, of course,
the annoying part is they'll if you're trying to make a case or make an argument and they'll say, you're gaslighting me. You mean I'm trying to make my case and convince you of my point of view? That's when it's annoying. No, right. I'm not. Whatever that gaslighting thing is, I want to throw a match on it, just trying to
just threw a match on your
just making a case of what I have to say. You don't agree with it, it's not gaslighting.
Yes.
Michael Bancroft hit the nail. He says gaslighting is making someone think they're crazy for believing something the gaslighter knows to be true.
Yep.
Or false. Oh, wait a minute. What?
Making someone think they're crazy for believing something that's true.
Oh, okay. Right. See, that's a kind of a different definition, though, of gaslighting. I think there's...
that's more accurate on how most people are using it.
But you can see how that could be annoying when you're trying to convince them of your point of view.
Yeah, that's why
they're basically saying, "Hey, you're trying to you're lying, basically, or you're full of shit, or something, or you have nefarious means, or motivations, or something like that."
Quit using gaslighting and just say, as Gary said, you're lying. You're full of it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Disagree. Why can't you? What happened to just I disagree?
Where'd it go? War Habit. That name is new to me. Hi, War Habit. I just tuned in, and man, I love that drawing, Aaron.
Oh, thank you. You should be
send him a cannonball for me.
No.
Gary, you can't do a pause when you say that. And I love that drawing, and all three of us are sitting there. What?
That's why I pause for effect.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Because I know, Dan, you expect me to
see. That's the opposite of gaslighting. That's telling the truth. See, that's what we encourage on this show. It's truth telling. Oh, good times.
Marcus Killigrew laying down some knowledge. Okay, Marcus. It's from the. Hold on a second. It's scrolling here. It's from the movie Gaslight in 1944.
Right.
Where the husband was trying to make his wife crazy by turning on the gaslight in the house.
Well, and he was like making noises up in the attic and all this kind of stuff and saying that she wasn't hearing anything. And Yeah, that's of course that's where it's from.
And he says, follows up with, and telling her he didn't turn on the lights.
Right.
Mm.
That was Charles Boyer and Ingrid Bergman, in case anybody's interested.
Wow.
And whose Murder She Wrote? What's her name? Angela Lansbury.
Angela
Played
Lansbury.
the saucy French maid in this movie.
Yeah. Angela was quite a looker in her youth.
Yeah, she was in the younger days.
And that the chain smoking didn't work out for her.
No, well, it doesn't really work out for very many people. Lauren Bacall did not age well either.
No.
She was freaking beautiful when she was 18.
Yeah. Well, no, not really. I never.
You never liked her? Oh,
No.
I thought
She had a trucker voice when she was 16.
I know, but I don't know, something about her, man. I liked her. But then she showed up in the Rockford Files as James Garner's girlfriend there for a while, and she just looked like she'd been smoking a few too many.
Yeah. Hanging out with you know who, Humphrey.
Yeah. Man, how old? He was probably like 30 years older than her, because she was 18 when they did their first movie together, and they kind of got together.
Yeah.
And he was probably, and had to have been in his 40s.
Art of Roy says, no, that's some gaslighting, Gary. And Petey Ma is thanking Marcus Killigrew. Well done, Marcus.
What did Marcus do?
Laying down the knowledge.
Oh, well, you know.
You forgot already?
Yeah, what? No, he's Marcus is, that's what he's all about, is knowledge. He's always got the information. It's usually comic book, but here's a little movie.
Torchbearer Studio says Gary did not like Lauren Bacall because she was jailbait for you guys his age.
Damn.
For a guy his age. Yeah.
Now, that's one gal that didn't look 18. I can tell you that, when she was 18.
No, it's because she was smoking and it aged her.
Started smoking when she was 5.
Right.
All right.
Marcus. Okay, Marcus. We'll see how this lands, Marcus. Marcus says, well, sorry, I'm scrolling here. Hold on a second. Where'd it go?
You know, my mom would always say, and still does, whenever you go, well, she'd go, that's a deep subject.
Yeah, okay. It scrolled and I
Nice.
didn't read it. Marcus says, well, I'm almost as old as Aaron, but I remember things.
Oh.
Okay. All right, Marcus. If I wasn't in the throes of inking this zombie right now, I would cannonball you for that.
Yeah, you got to get your cannonball shots in, or you got your cannonball comments in while he doesn't have the cannonball.
That's right. I can get away with some stuff on the show.
Just take a look. As he looked like he's about to dip that pen in ink, go with your comment.
That's right. And then hope Gary sees it and reads it.
Deb Koth Schnelly, I hope I'm saying that right. What did I miss? Has John Malin won yet?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you definitely need a cannonball.
And Marcus says, follows up with, and I have hair. And Rand Arrington says, ouch.
Well, they're just coming at me now, thinking they're not going to get
Yeah.
paid the price.
Someone compliments Aaron, and you know,
Blood in the water here.
All right, that takes care of Malin. Who else we got?
Marcus.
Okay, that's the one right there. That pushes me. I'm very sensitive.
Damn.
All right. Okay.
You're
Caught up. I'm caught up.
You are not safe with the comments, and I thought you would be. But I thought I found a loophole there.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to, but then they started piling on. I said, "Discipline."
Right. You got to cut them. You got to show them. You know.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You got to.
This can't stand.
Got to lay out the. We have had no Katie Did sighting today. You guys notice that?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So she was in the chat of my closeout stream yesterday afternoon, and I was complaining that she had never invited me on her show, and then she says, "You can come on anytime, 9:30 a.m. Eastern."
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you out of your freaking mind? That's 6:30 in the morning for me. I'm not getting up that early even to do your show." So
Did you say it that way?
pretty much. I think yeah. I was like, you can't stream at 9:30 in the morning on the East Coast. That's insane.
I'm assuming that people with regular jobs, I don't know what her situation is, but they don't realize that freelancers, rarely get up before noon.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I was laying in bed, woke up. Now I was up till 2 last night, but I look and it's like, it's after 9. I'm like, yeah, just lay here a little bit longer. Pretty soon it's after 10. You're like, I got to get out of bed now. What am I doing?
My clock is all off. I'm all waking up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I never do this.
Really?
Yeah.
That's old people time. That's why I thought at my age I should be like going to bed at like 7 and waking up at 5 a.m. and it just has not happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I used to have this thing where my schedule would spin, drove my wife crazy. And I would just stay up a little later every time, a little later, and would go around the clock.
Wow.
Well, you figure these guys that like again, you're speaking of Malin. I mean, he never streams until it doesn't even start until like 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern, and then goes all night. And it's like he cannot be getting up in the morning,
No, I think he doesn't sometimes show up till, I think he's sleeping in the afternoon sometime. That's my guess.
Well, so do I. That's called a nap.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can't say nap to a young person because it's like holy water to a vampire.
Yeah, right. Like, what the heck?
No, like when I was in college, it became more important to sleep because we were always up super late, right? And then you had to drag yourself to class. And then it was like in the afternoon, it's like, dude, sleep becomes more important than food in college. So I missed a few meals just going, no, I got to sleep.
You sounded like the booty warrior right there. And booty's more important than water.
Well, it is. That was the first time and only time in my life where sleep became more important than food. Of course, now I'm back on the food train where that's obviously more important than anything.
Get on the food train.
Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes you have to decide between the two.
Yeah. Well, no, you do, because if you're like, it's prime nap time right now and someone says, oh, yeah, let's go get something. You're like, no, I'm sleeping.
David's doing filing his nails again.
I wish I was a little bit. Why am I not more ballsy with my black placement? I don't know when I became this guy who was so enamored with line work or something. And I mean, I don't do like Ethan or anything like that, but it's like, man, solid blacks create so much weight and depth.
Yeah.
And I don't use them anywhere near as much as I should.
You have to experiment with it. It's more about seeing what you can get away with, and where you have to push it beyond what you should do, and then
Yeah, I think you might be right. Because it almost never, you're in your mind, you're thinking, if I put all this black in there, this whole thing's going to go flat, but it's wrong. It does exactly the opposite. It creates more volume.
right. Speaking of Andy, he's been posting a lot of Gil Kane Swamp Thing covers inked by Tom Palmer.
Yeah,
Swamp
great
Thing or
stuff.
And
Man Thing?
Palmer
Yeah.
added a lot of blacks to Gil Kane's work and did exactly what you're talking about. Really, really made the figure solid and created depth.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
sure he did that with Tomb of Dracula up at with Gene Colan
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
because that stuff is great.
Yep.
I think that was the best combo. Was it those two guys on Tomb of Dracula? You know.
Well, yeah, I would say Palmer and Gene Colan was a really good, because Palmer got, I don't know, and when he was inking Neil Adams, he was very young when he was inking Neil Adams on X-Men. That's still my favorite stuff, but he got bolder, heavier handed as he got as he went along. And Colan is one of those artists that works on him.
Yes.
Because he's got a lot of heavy black areas to begin with, and but yeah, I never liked Palmer over Buscema. I never did.
Really?
Yeah. You know, the Avengers stuff, not that great, was it?
It was
No, I liked it a lot.
it was just there was something about his line work and his texture with the brush that I just didn't like.
I had a Buscema Conan page that Palmer inked, and I had it on my wall for years, and like in the hallway, and I stared at it every time I walked by it. It was amazing.
I don't remember that. I remember your Redondo Conan painting.
I can't remember what
You
issue
had-
it was from,
You had
but
a
it
Pogo.
was amazing.
You had a Pogo strip, right? And didn't you have a Bern Hogarth Tarzan thing too?
No, I had a pastel drawing that he did.
Okay.
Hey guys, I got to call it in early.
Okay.
So
Okay.
unfortunately, I know I won, but I want to, encourage you guys to try to make it to third place.
Okay. Well, that's
we'll just pull ourselves across the finish line.
that's on its way to being really, really cool. So hopefully you get a chance to finish it. All right.
Yeah.
David, thank you for
Hey, David.
take care, bud.
See you, David.
All right. Peace out.
Peace.
Yeah, that's going to be
Well,
cool.
I'm taking off too. I gotta go.
Hey, you son of a.
You got what?
I gotta go eat a bag of
See, we
peanuts.
know David has got stuff to do, but
You were not convinced.
Gotta reorganize my eraser.
yeah, your spoon collection.
I am done though.
Are you done?
I'm done, son.
What about the hair?
The hair's there.
That's extremely blonde.
She's a blonde.
Yeah, that's extremely blonde.
Yeah.
But you're going to color that, though, right?
I didn't think about it. But maybe I could.
Like, that's what I was thinking, that you make
Kinda
blonde
cool.
hair very blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna want that
Kind of fun because like I said, I haven't drawn her in. I don't know. Was it 35 years? 30 years? I don't know. 30 to 35 years. Holy shit.
Some would still argue you haven't, but I guess it's
What?
kind of done. No, I mean, if that's what you call finished art, that's fine. I mean, you
I do call it
interpret
finished
that
art,
any way
yes.
you want.
A silent spirit.
It choose to identify.
A silent spirit, another name we're not familiar with. Hey. Now, if we get Dan and Gary to leave, then Aaron might have a chance to win.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
That's the kind of stuff that death is made of.
Body slam.
Wait a minute. Who's okay? I don't like doing this, you guys. You kind of force my hand sometimes. It's just
Tough love.
now. War Habit says, Dan, War Habit says she looks good, but not enough boobs. So I don't know, maybe you're not done.
It's too late. Well, no, it's not too late.
Did he leave too?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just
Well,
rearranging.
they're saying there's not enough boobage there. What's your reaction to that?
I will get to it
Well,
right away.
Dan professionally illustrated that character, so he knows what he's doing.
Well, it's been a while though. Like you said, maybe he forgot some of the more.
He forgot.
But I am dedicated to getting those boobs just right. And
So
I will
Dan's
get right
actually-
to it. I will get right on that job.
Okay, the chat has power. Dan is going to redraw this.
Well, you had to twist my arm to work on the boobs, but spend hours on it.
Thanks.
Well, Pamela's got, she's endowed.
Yeah, she's augmented.
Yeah, that's true. She's not. They're not real.
Oh, I think I made one boob bigger than the other.
No, there is actual human flesh there. It's just been enhanced.
Yeah. Well, the larger.
It's not like somebody stapled coconuts on her chest.
No. Well.
Well, you got one of them, right?
Huh?
They look. One of them looks much. Am I wrong? One of them looks much larger than the other one.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, it's a work in progress.
Okay.
Oh, I don't.
I think it's the bra. Actually, it's got to go higher up on the one side there.
I think you've just moved the cleavage line over a little bit.
No. What he needs to do,
perhaps
he needs to drop that. Her left boob needs to be a little bit lower. You need that.
No, I don't want to do that.
Lower.
Because that's redrawing the whole thing.
No. Well, you need to erase and start over, Dan. That's needs to happen.
Yeah. See, Aaron is trying to convince you.
I think I know what the problem is. Hang on a second.
Okay. What are we doing? Telling Dan. Dan has a drawing channel.
No, I'm trying to. I'm not done yet, so I'm trying to.
I know that.
No, actually, the funny thing is that people, artists, they're great, but even people who, my wife's not an artist, and she'll come in and I remember once I was working on this cover for Death Dealer just recently, and I had.
You talking about the price guide cover?
No, the homage one where they were redoing the Conan thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And she just came and said that knee looks weird, and I knew it did, but I had needed someone to come out and kind of just say it,
Yeah, a lot of times we just kind of don't want to bother with the correction. We just want to get on with it. And then when somebody points it out, you're like, yeah, you're right.
Or it confirms what you're kind of suspicious of.
When Shelly does that to me, that is when I usher her out of the studio.
You usher her out with
usher her out.
Take her hand and just like
Graham.
This way, this way, young lady.
Beat it, sister.
Oh, man. See, we're gonna get him in trouble again. We always get him in trouble.
Now, you know who does that to me all the time is my daughter, right? Because there's nothing worse than an art student to get criticism from, because they're in an environment where they're constantly getting criticized, and so then they feel like they should come after you. And so then I've been in many heated discussions with my daughter about, that doesn't look right. And I go, it does too.
Yeah, then you have a debate. Yeah.
And and her boyfriend's an art student, and he's over like going, if it were me, I go, it's not you.
Yeah.
I cut him off. I'm just like,
before you get into trouble,
stop.
You think she would talk to her boyfriend before saying, whatever you do, do not say anything about the art.
My daughter would do the opposite. She would encourage him to, to kind of, get a reaction out of me.
Yeah, that sounds like my daughter. Aviator Surge says, usher her out, but then fixes it.
Well, there's always that moment, right, where you're like, I don't want to hear the criticism, and then you start looking at it and go, gosh darn it, and then you go in and fix it. But you never give them the satisfaction of knowing that it was them that.
Right. You gotta fix
so you're kind of like
secret.
You say, it's bullshit, and then they leave the room. And you kind of look both ways and start working.
Right. Look over your shoulder.
Right, exactly. And they go, oh, I see a fix. I go, no, it's just how I drew it.
Yeah, you gaslight them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That gaslighting.
Didn't change anything.
Actually.
You know what I find myself saying a lot is apparently. Even when I know it's not apparent that it's actual fact, I'll go, well, apparently this guy went over, and when instead of just going, so this guy walks in there and he does this, you're like, apparently this guy, I do.
Do you remember that video with the kid at the amusement park? And the newscaster was interviewing her. That they called him the apparently kid because he was like, apparently I was scared half to death. He sounded like W.C. Fields.
He's
Oh my God.
he's second guessing his own emotions.
Or something like that. Well, he was using the word a lot, and it was so funny because he just sounded well beyond his years. And the newscaster is just holding it and cracking up. You can see her just laughing like crazy. It was so funny. Kid became famous.
Was that the same? Was that kid from Portland?
I think so.
There's a lot of famous kids that were interviewed in Portland that have become, like, there's this one kid, he was at some waterfront event in downtown Portland where they have festivals there along the waterfront. It was a carnival or something, and reporters down there, yeah, here we're down at the carnival, and here's a young man. Hey, young man, how are you enjoying the carnival? And the kid was like, I like turtles. And that became famous.
Right.
It took off. It's like in the
yeah, it doesn't take much anymore to get your 15 minutes of fame, does it?
Yeah.
I'm still looking for mine.
I'm gonna turn it around.
Where are you, Aaron, in finishing this?
Oh, I'm pretty much done. I'm just kind of waiting on Dan to fix those boobs.
They're done.
Oh, okay. Time is 4:05. Okay.
You just
all right. I got to do the stripes on his shirt. Hang on a second.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Let me see how this looks. Can you see it? Can you see it? See, I gotta flip this thing so I can maneuver it.
I think they look better, Dan. I think they look more. The drawing is more well-rounded, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I see what you did there, Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get in on this. I love the guns.
Yeah.
Her guns are fantastic.
Remember my linguistic challenge I gave you, Aaron? And you failed at it, as everybody does.
The what?
The linguistic challenge I gave you.
What linguistic challenge?
What was this?
It's I told Aaron, we were on a show, and I said, okay, when I say what I say, you got to repeat it 5 times fast, and no human can do it. It's a tongue twister, really.
When was this?
We were on a show. Are you ready? You want to do it again now that you can't remember it?
Yeah.
Okay. When I say these 2 words, you got to repeat them as fast as you can.
All right.
Right away.
Right? And Mark, get set. Huge boobs.
Huge boobs.
Say it 5 times fast.
Huge boobs. Huge boobs. Well, maybe I can't. I don't know.
Nobody can. See?
Okay.
Huge boobs. Huge boobs. Huge boobs.
I don't think it's the words. I think it's the concept that messes people up.
It might be. You get them thinking. You're not thinking about words anymore.
Right.
All right. I think this is about as goonish as this is going to get. So let me.
I'm very lit right now.
You're very lit? What have you been smoking weed? What do you mean you lit?
See, this is the dark Dan. The dark side of the force. And then the holy Dan.
Dark side of the Dan. All right.
Angelic Dan for showing artwork.
All right. Be prepared to be something or other.
That'd be something.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It looks just like the goon. I mean, you nailed the character too.
And
Man,
look
it's
at
kind of cool. It's got like a Hulk pose. Oh, that's great. I love the zombie in there too.
Yeah.
And my signature.
You can't go wrong with a Lopresti zombie.
Well, there you go.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And that one eye looking like, whoa.
Like, oh shit. Even he's like, damn it, I'm a zombie and I'm about to get smashed to pieces.
I should have him bringing the fist down, like body parts flying all over.
No.
Let's see. There we go. Torchbearer Studios. That is great, Aaron. Thank you. Aviator. Looks great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you may have taken this one, Aaron. Now, let's see.
Hair on the arms. Yeah. I've got my own hair on the arms to use as a model. Okay. All right. Well, now that our good friend David has left us with an unfinished piece, so we will see what he's got next time. There you go, Dan. What have you got for us? Ooh, shiny.
There she is.
Now, so what's the deal with her pants? Is that like open on that side and it's kind of stitched?
No, they're buckles.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Yeah. How would you like to buckle up those pants every morning?
Yeah, I inked Chris Warner on.
We got force perspective. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah. On this character,
nice.
And those buckles were a pain.
Once again, a great female face, as
Yes.
as you always do.
A little too intelligent for barbed wire.
I know. She usually has sunglasses, but I didn't. I kind of wanted to draw the eyes in.
Yeah, you don't want to cover up the eyes.
Yeah,
you don't want to cover up the eyes.
I could, but it's just kind of fun. I like to draw out the eyes.
You can put a very light gray over the lens.
Got a tire in there.
It's great the way it is.
Well, you did do some background in there and everything. That's very nice. Too bad you don't ink like the rest of us. It'd be a more complete drawing.
I'm ink challenged, obviously.
Oh, very nice though.
But she's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm actually interested in it and maybe throwing a little color on it.
Well, we always expect that, Dan, to show up on Twitter, with a little bit of color.
Yeah.
Or a lot of color,
Yeah.
All righty.
I did actually really like working on this character. The character was okay, but the supporting characters were excellent. They were the whole universe they had created, the villains and stuff. Those were what was really good. So I actually really enjoyed Barbed Wire a lot.
I never read the book. Of course, that was in the 90s, right? So that's.
Do you remember there was that kind of will to power? Well, they had all the books. They had they had X, of course, and Ghost, and all those.
It was their
pretty good lineup of new characters when you think about it. I mean, they did,
and it didn't take off because it was trying to, at that period of time, new superhero stuff was just not. If it didn't come from Marvel and DC, no one cared.
Well, no, it sold initially pretty well, but it died out very quickly.
That's what I mean. It's like there's always that kind of something new, and then they're kind of like meh.
Yeah, because I worked on some of those books, and royalty checks were respectable, but then it's like they were gone.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was excited because Adam was doing Ghost, but he only did a couple issues, and then Chris. Well, it was always his own worst enemy because he's an incredibly talented artist, but he never stuck on anything long enough, to get any sort of mainstream recognition.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on Batman for crying out loud and he quit, right? Because it was like the schedule was, he just didn't want to deal with the schedule. And like, he could have been like a superstar if he'd stayed with it there.
He didn't like drawing comics because it was, he said it was hard.
Well, it is, yeah.
It is.
But Chris created a lot of those characters for Dark Horse.
Yeah. Black
Comics
Cross.
Greatest World, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Comics Greatest.
Yeah, but when they first launched Dark Horse, they had that Dark Horse Presents and Concrete, I think, were the two, and Aliens were the three books, right?
Right.
And he did Black Cross for Dark Horse Presents. And it was all black and white, right? Those first ones?
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I used to like the black and white comics because you could just see the artwork better.
Right.
But your mainstream audience does not appreciate uncolored books for the most part. So that was unfortunate. But Dark Horse did a lot of great stuff, but we all found out, very quickly, and I mean we by meaning Malibu and stuff, that it just competing with Marvel, even during the boom and with superheroes, was Marvel and DC. It was just, you just couldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they did, for a while, Marvel really was kicking butt with its
Yes.
It pulled it. It had its universe was put together well. The X-Men was just killer. I mean, there was, Claremont was just doing great stories, and there was, it's hard to compete. Then you had Simonson on Thor and other.
Well, that was it. I wouldn't credit Claremont. I would credit their artists. Marvel had this ridiculous pool of artists that were just that we'll never see again. That quality.
Yeah, I mean, the 80s were just explosive with great material, and that carried about halfway into the 90s. And so you got the late 80s is where the boom happened, and it carried off into the early 90s, and then everything imploded after that.
Yeah.
But it was a period of time where there was some really, really great stuff being done.
Yeah. And then stuff
the
then these editors really cared about the art, did things like Archie Goodwin. And
they were creators themselves.
Yeah, and he did Epic Illustrated and things like that, and they brought in some of these European artists, and it was just great.
It was
stuff,
it was a great time, and it's unfortunate, when you, like Gary said, that the editorial staff, when we were breaking in, they were all guys that had worked in the industry, and they, like Carl Potts was a great editor, right?
Yes.
But he was an artist and he was a writer, and he had. Archie was a great editor and he was a writer, and that's all gone out the window.
Yeah.
Roy
Thomas
that anymore. So you don't have people making decisions that have any sort of experience in comics.
Right.
Or,
it's stupid.
It's ridiculous, but there it is.
So do we have 5 minutes for the?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's throw this up for auction.
Drum roll.
Let's add it to. This is what we're auctioning off here, folks. 11 by 17. Is that correct, Gary?
Yes. So let's just do 5 minutes. Let's start the bid at, let's say 90, which is a steal.
Yeah,
that's an absolute steal.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's start the bidding.
Zoom in a little bit. Let's see.
This is 11 by 17.
Yes, it's Dave Gibbons recreation.
Let's look at some of these
Martha Washington
brush strokes. I want to see what. It's just beautiful stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Who would want to own something like this?
So you want to type in, like, if your bid's $90 confirmed, you have to put confirmed after the dollar amount. $100 confirmed, whatever. $200 confirmed, $300. Just suggestions for bidding.
Yeah, I like your suggestions.
So there you go. The auction has begun. So we're looking for an opening bid of $90. That's all, just $90 Italy dollars. For Martha Washington.
I just can't be, us non-inker types, we just look at this and go, oh, I love ink. It's on the piece of paper, it's so solid, and it just the beautiful. It looks like magic to me.
I was always a sucker for women and gear, and so when I saw this illustration, it's like, oh, I've got to do this. Look at that stuff, and the way Gibbons draws it, everything is crystal clear.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, just the magazine pouches with one of the flaps open, and details like that.
Rand Arrington said, "I'm taking that for 100. 100 confirmed by Rand. Thank you."
Thank you. And then how he feathers on top of his blacks. He's doing horizontal feathering here, which you don't see that often.
Yes.
And another great effect by Dave Gibbons.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a little music called "Feeding Ducks."
Is this character still in print, I wonder?
What do you mean still in print?
Well, I mean, are they still? I mean, do they just continually print?
No.
Frank Miller stuff.
No, I don't think
so. You can get collections of this stuff, but it's. I don't think it's recent.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. I mean, in a graphic novel.
That's the interesting thing with the. I mean, they probably don't even have the license for this anymore, because I'm sure it was creator owned by Dave. I mean, I know it was creator owned by Dave.
Oh, it's creator owned. Okay.
So they have unless he re-up the contract with them, which he hasn't done any material for it. So chances are they don't have it, so they can't reprint it.
Can he reprint it?
Yeah, he could because he
Okay.
owned.
Okay.
But as we found out with most artists, and they don't want to do this. This crowdfunding is a pain in the butt. They don't want to do that. They want someone else to do it for them. So you'd have to have someone, that felt they could make enough money on it to reprint it or whatever.
Right.
So we're at $100, you guys. We're looking for 110.
And this is all brush inking. I even used a brush on the weaponry.
I will start a countdown and go
Blows
from
my
10 to
mind.
1. Skull says had to reset. $120 confirmed. There you go, Skull Eater. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thank
that's good.
you,
You're gonna-
leader.
You will enjoy that. That's for sure.
You can see my pencils in here under some of these lines. I try to erase all this stuff, and I sometimes you don't want to erase too hard because then you'll start erasing the ink line.
Did Frank Miller write this? Martha Washington?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
But so was it Miller and a Gibbons creation, or was it just a Gibbons creation and Miller came in to write it for him?
I think it was Frank Miller and Gibbons was the illustrator,
Okay.
but I think Gibbons had input on the stories.
Rand says, no, I'm 100. I'm on 130. So there you go. We got a little
Yeah.
bidding going on here.
And
Again,
Yeah.
this is 11 by 17, folks.
yeah, it's big. 11 by 17.
Yes. Big figures.
Inking spent cartridges with a brush is not fun.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But sometimes I challenge myself and I say, I'm going to ink everything with a brush. I don't always do that, but I did on this piece.
Torchbearer Studio says, Frank pitched 3 or 4 ideas to Dave. This is the one Dave liked the most.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really different. And Frank got in trouble with it too. They got in trouble with it because they made the Nazis gay. Remember that? the villains? They were gay Nazis.
Will the Nazis get mad about it, or?
No, the gay people were
Oh,
did not like
The gay
the,
people. Okay.
they were not happy that that they were being demonized in that way, But Frank was being creative. Yeah, he wouldn't mean anything by it. He just was like, I'm gonna make a villain that's And then they had, and this was unusual too. A black woman, with blonde hair, dyed blonde hair. It was an unusual character. Now we see this stuff all the time, but back then it was really a unique thing. And it wasn't because, and this is the perfect thing they talk about with the diversity stuff. It's like it wasn't. He didn't do it for diversity. He did it for interesting. To make it something different.
Right.
And that's when it's fine, when it's creative, and it's because we all looked at that and said, wow, that's a different kind of a character, and we were drawn to that, and it was a really compelling story.
This was like post apocalyptic kind of thing, wasn't it, or a futuristic sort of? Yeah.
Yes.
Henry
And
Beaver says Frank Miller and Dave Gibbons co-creation is what it's like.
I think Texas had seceded, and they had some big war, and like they had this hamburger monster, like Big Boy Monster or something. Remember that? Oh, it was
Gosh,
crazy,
it's so long
crazy
since I've
stuff,
come
man.
through this book.
There you
We're
go.
at $130. We're going to go into the countdown here pretty quick. Do I hear 140 or even 150? Get in there and bid.
Yeah. Why don't you?
Steal 11 by 17. And while you're thinking about bidding, hit the like and subscribe button to this channel. Helps the Graybeards grow. We are an award-nominated show, so that means something. That probably doesn't mean anything, but it means that some people out there like the show enough to get us nominated. So thank you for that.
140, 140,
I hear it. I'm going to start the
140,
countdown.
140.
Start the countdown. See if we can.
This is $150 for sure.
Go
I think I would throw 150 his way.
So here we go. 10. 9. Stell says just did what?
I forgot to
I
like.
forgot to like. He said just did. Thank you. This music makes me want to break out the bong. Indeed.
Yeah, you can't play this music to us sleepy guys, us old guys. We're gonna get sleepy.
8. Doing the countdown, baby. 8. Here we go. 7. I'm going to restart at 5 if someone comes in last second. So just, the rules, but don't wait till the last second because there's a delay and you'll miss out.
There's a delay and it won't work.
6. Yeah, Gary and us and everybody's already left the show and eating dinner. You're just hearing this now. So.
Right.
5.
150.
4.
This is a great piece to have on your wall. People come in and say, "What is that?" That's an inked piece by hand by a famous comic book artist.
No AI involved here, folks. This is the real stuff.
By hand.
2. Rand Arrington.
Only $150.
Pretty comfortable right now.
Steal.
130. Just absolutely crazy. 1. Here we go. I'm going to type in 0 and then sold. I'll turn off this bad music.
Yeah, I think that can go.
HR says, I've eaten shrooms tonight with Ennio Morricone. I don't know what that means.
He's the music conductor, composer for a lot of spaghetti westerns like Good, Bad, and Ugly.
Okay.
All right, Rand, congratulations.
Sold. Rand Arrington takes it. Fast food corporations were fighting for control of the Amazon for grazing rights for their vast herds of cows. They use giant mechs in the shape of their mascots.
Okay.
So some wild information right there.
Thank you, Rand. Appreciate it. Thank you. Could you kick in $20 for shipping since this is 11 by 17? I don't know. If you saw it. It's big.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. And make sure you include your shipping address.
And where's it going to pay you at, Gary?
You can reach me with PayPal with my email, inkart, INKART, @earthlink.net.
And there it is in the chat. It's inkart@earthlink.net. That is the PayPal address for Gary. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate the super chats. I think we got them all. I hope we got them all. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Geek Avengers for $2. I give you guys a Jew pass. So apparently he's Jewish. So he's giving us a, and then he's got
that's my Jewish joke. Okay.
Jews for bacon for $2. Gary, how did you let these things slide by?
It was the Jewish angle. I was,
You were a little nervous, were you, about it?
Yeah.
All right. So now we got all the super chats. Thanks, Geek, for that, and everybody that joined in. We can't do the show without you, so we greatly appreciate your participation. We will see you next week with all new category and poll. Hopefully on Monday. I'll remember to put it up Monday instead of waiting till Tuesday. Torchbearer Studio says, I did a con this weekend and they had actual $1 boxes. I picked up some great Aaron and Gary Sledge issues. Hey, man, I'm glad to see they're going up in value. All right. Thanks, guys. Remember to tune into the landing party at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern. That's just in like 30 minutes from now.
By the way, did you guys hear a rumor that Anna actually is having a girl?
I saw that, but I have not verified. We'll pin her down on the show tonight and see. Not literally, but I mean figuratively, pin her down. So anyway, all right, guys. Thank you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.